When I was 16, I trained doing domination and then left that. And then I can't remember exactly why or when it happened, but it was like a few years ago. I went through a horrendous relationship, and then my sister said, you can come back into domination if you want, and I found it all too just weird. So then I was like, no, I think I'd much prefer to just have sex with money, rather than doing all the weird, crazy stuff that people want to be done. It's not up my street, that. And I thought, to be honest, it was a lot easier than what it was going to be. And I thought it's easy money for something that you do every day with someone you're with anyway, so what's the difference? So I've walked into it completely blind thinking it'd be fine, and it really won't. So I wanted money quick, needed to pay bills and drug bills and stuff like that. But the escorting in London though, the money was so good. It's like you could get anything you wanted. Book a holiday on a whim, full of tattoos if you wanted to be. For an agency is fine, but the parlours are horrendous. I would never go back to parlour ever. If I ever did it privately or through escorting, it's the aftermath, it's weeks after. It's you can't get yourself clean. Anything I ever wore, or even wore, literally walking into work, went in the tip. Ugg boots, everything, anything I had on, velour sweatsuits, every last thing I owned, all my underwear. I don't even own underwear, I don't even wear underwear anymore. It knocks me sick, the thought of wearing underwear, because it's just so related to that, because it's such a thing that men like underwear. So it's just the least of my priorities, so I don't wear underwear, because it just makes me feel sick, the fact that that is what men like, and it's minging. And everything is a reminder of everything. So you every day, you'd like the smell of a shower gel, the smell of certain things, like an aftershave. There's a certain aftershave that if I smell it, it literally makes me feel sick. There's certain stuff like that it just affects every day. Like, it's just... Working actually in a building is horrific, but working escorting's fine. If you do escorting, it could be like 3 people in a night for like a 12-hour period, and you get paid so much more. And then in a parlour, it is literally from the second you walk in the building in your own clothes, you're back to back, one person after another, after another, after another, to the point where you can't physically stand up at the end of the night. The worst one was the one that a guy got kicked out because he just wouldn't take no. He wouldn't take slow down or stop or anything. There was me and another girl who his friend went into, and he was brutal. He just wanted to hurt. That's all he wanted to do. And there was like a bled and everything. That was horrendous. That was awful. But then he got thrown out. That was the very first shift I did in a parlour. That was the very final person I saw as well, and it was 10-6 and I finished at 6. And it was the worst thing I've ever done. I just look at every man who walks past in a different light. It's weird. It's just, you could be anywhere and someone tries to flirt with me, and I can't stand anyone creeping on me, talking to me. Someone being nice and genuine, it makes my skin crawl. Because I just think there's no way on this planet any man is not after one thing. I went in there knowing that I wouldn't have a clue what would happen. I never were nervous, because if I were nervous, you're showing fear. And as soon as you walked in that alleyway to go there, I knew that I was stepping into a theatre. That's how I saw it in my head. That's the only way I managed it. You're literally stepping into character. So it's like, you're not you. You're not you. You're stepping into a dressing up costume, and you're acting. You're in a theatre, you're acting. Everything I did was, I weren't doing it because I was pushed over, I was doing it because I decided to do it, and I owned what I did, and everyone knew that I was very definite, and I put on as though I was really confident and secure about everything I was doing. When I weren't, I was falling to pieces inside. I was absolutely off my head on drugs and trying to hold it together. But they would try to be intimidating. They stand outside all in a fag. There could be like 8-10 people, and they try and touch outside. You act as though you're like rock hard, and nothing would bother you. And that was the only way you get through it. As soon as you showed fear, they would take the piss out of you royal, and they'd do things to you didn't want to do, and girls would run out of the room crying and screaming. I've seen girls get up, dressed and leave, like in tears, people bleeding. Horrendous. If you did that job straight-headed, you'd never make it, you'd never survive, you'd end up literally topping yourself. But because it's a vicious circle of drugs, you don't have time to emotionally recover, because you're back wired the day after and the day after and the day after. So the job you're doing is paying for the next fix, so it doesn't make a difference, because you never so it's only when you come away from all the drugs that then you actually really have to cope with everything you've been through. And you're literally like, am I even going to survive this? But you're that wired off drugs, it becomes like, tomorrow's a new day, it'll be fine. And if it's not fine, then I won't know about it anyway, because I won't be here. It was just too cut and dry. I had to think of it like, well, if I don't survive, then at least I tried making the money for the kids. I tried doing what I needed to do. So I think in the long run, is it worth it? No, definitely not. But at the time, if you're in that drug ring, then yeah, because it's the only way you're going to get money quick. And I think it's punishment as well to yourself, because you know you're doing it for a reason, for something stupid, which is drugs. It's almost like you're punishing yourself to get the thing you need. And that's a really weird way of thinking of it, but that's what I think I did a lot as well. But no, overall, I don't think it's worth it. I just felt like everything was fighting against me, so I just thought, we can't beat them, join them. So if I can't do anything about it, I'm not running away from anything. I've been beat up day in, day out for 2 years. I've got no family because no one's interested. My sister's in that industry, so fuck it, I'll just join everybody with it. So I'll put myself in a dangerous situation, but in my sister's environment, and just ran with it. Thought, well, where else do you go? Because my other sister's got a really good job. Mum and Dad got a good job, but there was no support there for me. So I thought, well, I'm not going to go work in a shop for next to nothing when I've got loads of kids to bring up. So the other option is join them and deal with the consequences afterwards.